reason that you purchased, there was a reason that you made you buy, and hopefully there was a reason that connected with you and is helping you to promote yourself in some sort of way. But in the midst of buying someone else's items and brands, what do you have on that's promoting your own brand? You are your own walking billboard. And I'm not saying you got to have a t-shirt on every day that says, you know, your name, your business, a hat. Doesn't have to be obvious, but it could be something as small as a signature, you know, pin that you wear. A conversational piece, an earring, something that consistently sets you apart. And people are like, my dude, them glasses, every time I see you, them glasses. You got to tell me what's up with them glasses. Well, you know what? I started a brand that sells sunglasses. That's what it's about. And the purpose of you being here at this workshop is to focus on more about how to own that brand and legally protect it. So thank you all for participating in that little opening exercise. So let me break it down for you all and tell you more about myself. I am attorney Serena Beasley. Been practicing law for 7 years now. Graduated from Emory right here in the ATL, born and raised right here. Excited to have the opportunity to be here. I am a single mom. And when the pandemic first hit, I stepped out on faith, left big law, and I started my own law firm, which is Bridge Forward Solutions. A lot of people thought I was crazy. First of all, we're in the middle of the pandemic. You don't know what's going on. And the firm that I was with, I'm very thankful for all of my opportunities. The firm that I was with was like, oh, you can work from home. I was like, okay, I can raise my baby and make some money, okay. But it turned out my child was looking at me like, can I get a glass of milk? And I'm sitting in front of the computer for 12, 13, 14 hours, and I'm just like, oh, you can't feed yourself yet? Okay, what we gonna do? And it was at that moment, that was a piece of the moment. The second moment was I had to go into the office. And one of the partners, his children had came in. They were on summer vacation. And so I saw them continuously coming in. And, you know, Dad, you know, where am I gonna work this summer? What department am I gonna be in? Oh, Dad, what about this? What about that? And I started thinking, like, the time that I invest into this firm, the time that I spend here driving back and forth, I'm pouring more into your legacy than I am even my own. And I said, okay, God, you have not allowed me to get through law school, to pass the bar in the first go around, to have an entrepreneurial spirit, to be a single mom and still doing it, to leave me where I am right now. And so I said there has to be something bigger and greater out there. And so I started my firm, and I exclusively work with female legacy-driven entrepreneurs to help them build their businesses and brands on solid legal foundations, which are geared towards generational wealth to build a lasting legacy. Because the time has come now where we don't have time to play. Each of you all, I could see it in your eyes, I could hear it in what you shared, I could feel the vibe, is that you know what you're doing is bigger than you. There was a reason you felt connected to start that. There was some energy behind what drove you to do yours. There's some deeper passion that you know that you're tapping into. This is not just a fly-by-night sort of deal. You all understand that this is bigger than you. And so as entrepreneurs, as business leaders, you have a responsibility to legally protect it so somebody else is not coming in trying to do what you do, flip it, serve it, reverse it, serve it as their own, and now they're sending you cease and desist letters to shut down and telling you to pay them some money when you thought like this was supposed to be your thing to begin with. And realistically it is, but you have a responsibility to ensure that you're protecting it. And so I feel very passionate about coming and doing these sort of workshops, especially for my Black and brown female legacy-driven entrepreneurs, because a lot of times we don't have these conversations at our dinner tables. We think it's cool, we got the LLC, hey, let me go and get this EIN, open a bank account, I'm ready to make millions. But if you're not built on a solid legal foundation, as soon as that million comes in, it's gone. Or as you're even moving up the ladder, those rungs are being slowly pulled away. You know why? Because you haven't legally protected it. So somebody else is coming in and setting their stuff up to take your stuff. So before I go into the legalities of how you can, and share some tips on you about how you can protect your brand, I want to do one more exercise. Because as we talk throughout this workshop, this is what's really going to drive you to stay motivated, to stay focused, and to get out of this what you came to get. So I got one question for you. If you feel comfortable answering it, great. If not, you can look at me like, don't pass the mic. But I want to know your why. So I'm going to start in the back. Why do you have a service? Why do you have a product? Why are you thinking of, or if you already own your business, what's your why? To purchase somebody else's label, which is all cool, you know, to each his own, but make sure that you're also putting on something that represents you, and again, is further promoting your brand and who you are, because it all comes back down to that why. So if you're really committed to that why, which I heard all of you are, then let's talk about how to legally protect it. And the word of the day is trademark. And not just any trademark, I'm talking federal trademark. So here's the misconception. A lot of my clients think, I got the LLC, I got the corporation, I started the business, I'm good, I'm protected. Can't nobody touch me. Well, right here in your bubble, you're protected. Those are called common law trademarks. So in that area that you mainly deliver business, you sell your products or your services, let's just say is right here at this chair. Right around this perimeter of this chair are your common law trademark protections. So nobody can come right here and sit right here and try and do what you do because you got common law protection. But as soon as you sell a product over here, as soon as you start, you know, chatting with somebody over here and make that service and make sure it's sold, you over here. So you've left your bubble of your common law protection. So now you are fully exposed, and your brand is as well, and you're just out there floating. So in order to get that protection, not only here at this bubble, but throughout the entire room, throughout the entire US, that federal trademark comes to be. So another misconception a lot of my clients have is, well, what does a trademark really protect? I mean, I'm too new in the game. I got, you know, I don't have 1,000 followers yet. I don't have $1 million. I'm just good with my trademark right here at this chair, at this bubble. That should be all I need. I'm gonna take you back to that why. And your why is not stuck in this chair. Your why is throughout this entire room. And so a trademark protects your brand. Why am I gonna come buy from you, or from you, or from you versus somebody else? Because of what you have built, because of your story, because of that name recognition. I know what I'm getting when I come to you. I know what type of products you sell, what services you're delivering, what type of customers you resonate with. This is who your brand is. That's what you spend money, time, energy, sleepless nights developing, and you outside of that chair now. So now you're fully exposed. That is what a trademark really protects. So you can protect a brand name, you can protect a slogan, you can protect a phrase of a conference. The possibilities are really endless. But it really comes down to is what recognition automatically ties your customer to you, to your service or your product, and that's what you want to protect. So my clients kind of get confused, well, you know, what's the difference between trademark and copyright? Because I thought, you know, if I do one thing, then that's just got me hemmed up to cover everything. So again, the trademark protects your brand recognition. The copyright protects your original ideas. So those products that you're putting together. if you're using, you know, certain products and the ingredients and how you make them, and it's original, how you're putting them together and how you're producing it a certain way, you can copyright the formula that you're using to create your products. So now you've got your brand protected, you've got how you put, you know, your overall structure of your ingredients protected, and you're developing that force field around you that can't nobody play with you. So outside of products, you can also copyright certain services. So let's just say you are delivering a service, a class, and you're handing out materials. You put together a workbook, an ebook, or some sort of, you know, handout. You can copyright that original, those ideas that you put together to put in that handout or to create that workbook. Or let's just say you got a book coming out. You copyright that book because you're protecting your original ideas. So we've got trademarks protecting the brand. We've got copyrights protecting those original ideas. And then you've got patents. So I'm not a science major. We've got some people in my house that does patents, but I don't really focus on that area. But patents basically protect your inventions. So let's just say you've got a specific way of packaging, or you've got a specific tool that you have created to design on how to do that perfect sew-in. And only that tool is shaped a certain way that can pull the hair and unite the hair. And so you protect that design of the product through a patent. So those three things that I just named really form, one last one is your trade secrets. So your email list that you're building, you wouldn't just give that away, would you? Ooh, child, you know how hard it is sometimes to get somebody a real email? Ma'am, it took me 2 minutes times. I can't just throw that out. So you can protect that. You can also protect how you specifically are building your business through certain systems or strategies that you have in place. You can protect that. I don't even know if you all know that you can protect your own likeness. The way you show up, you don't want other people trying to steal your likeness, your face, posting it on billboards and stuff, and nobody has an opportunity to take that. You can legally protect your own likeness. That's a trade secret. It's all under that wheelhouse. So what does that really mean? So I don't even know if you all realize most of the time when you go certain places and you purchase a ticket or you sign a form, you're giving up the rights to your image. So when you are out somewhere and you know, oh, I like this, somebody comes along, takes a shot, puts it on the Facebook, puts it on the gram, puts it on their marketing, puts it on a billboard, you've already sold your image. You gave those rights away.
We did that walking through the door.
You know that.
It literally says that when you walk through the
But
door.
now you see the importance?
Yeah.
Oh,
So, you know, next time you want to jump in somebody's photo, think about it. What you gonna be doing with my image? Because honey, a face could be worth some money. That hand could be worth some money. The way you specifically, you know, pose yourself could be worth some money. So the things that I just talked about fall under the umbrella of intellectual property. So those are the main things, and specifically what my firm and I focus on, of how to protect your business holistically. You've got your umbrella of intellectual property. So I wanted to start broad and work it in so you all understand that there's multiple ways that you can protect your brand. Those are some of the gems that I dropped. But today we want to specifically focus on federal trademarks. So before I dive in anymore, and again, we're in a safe space, no shame, you're here to get answers. Does anybody have any questions off the top?
Protected because you can't fight the lawsuit? Or is it still something you should do?
You should always go back to your why. Is your why worth protecting? Would you send your community, your kids, yourself out into the world without having the proper clothing, without having the proper shoes on, without fully being fed. And just thinking, well, if something happens, child, we'll figure it out then. And the answer is no. So you have to invest that same sort of mentality into your business. And so the right time to get that protection is now. And when these big businesses then come along and they try and fight it or whatever may happen, I mean, there's some nuances between everything. So I can't really go, deep dive into that specific question because I don't know the back end of it. But generally speaking, if you have your legal ducks in a row, they can't mess with you. They take you from A to Z.
Recording this whole time.
How can we get that trademark? How can we get that copyright? How can we get that trade secret? How can we promote you to get that franchise going, to license your agreements? You have your contracts in order. So once we're together, we're connected for life. I'm not just a company that's just one and done. And so you want to work with somebody that's really, and we might not vibe like that with all of you all. So you want to work with somebody who's invested in your business and your brand. Because what can happen is when you apply for that trademark, you tell them, I just want to sell sunglasses. I'm good with the sunglasses. And so what do? They register your mark just for your sunglasses. Have a great life. But if you would have connected with an attorney who said, okay, it's the sunglasses, but what else is it really? Well, my sunglasses was just the beginning because I got my apparel line that connects with my sunglasses, who's then gonna transition to my shoe line, who I'm thinking about, who gonna sell water bottle. And all of that could have been protected too. So it's really more than just the one and done. You wanna work with somebody who really gets you and is connected to see your vision through. But yes, that's how you can go on and look up any name up under the sun to see if it's trademark. But again, that's a general search. And you wanna work with somebody who knows what they're doing so they can do a comprehensive search to ensure that before you put these hard-earned coins out there, you're hoping to get a return on your investment by getting the trademark protection. Thank you for that question.
What was the website again?
USPTO, if you just Google it, United States Patent and Trademark Office.
Okay.
Okay, let me take somebody else. Anybody else have any general questions before I dive in a little bit further about trademarks? Yes, sir.
Trademark, so what if you say the logos fall under the trademark? So what happens when you evolve your logo? Is that still trademarked?
So a lot of times I tell my clients, if you're not married to your logo, like, child, I'm gonna be with this one right here for about good old 10 years or so, or 5, 10 years, whatever. I tell them to hold off. Because let me give you an example of the power of registering your logo individually outside of just connected to the mark. Because sometimes too, people feel like they can, and you can trademark your logo with your mark, with your brand name, but you only have the protection when you use it together. So let's just say you want to use your logo separate on some other things and then your name separate on some other things. You no longer have that protection because you only registered it as one unit. So for example, when you're on the highway and you see the logo for Starbucks, honey, you don't need no words. You already know what type of coffee that is. And then sometimes you do see the word Starbucks, and that again is associated with that company. But what they did, they registered each individually. They have the brand protection for both, so that way they can capitalize off of both pieces of their intellectual property and still have that same brand recognition, and they're bringing in money off multiple ends. And if they can do it, and they didn't just grow up overnight, you should have the same mentality for your business. So I always tell my owners and I always tell my my clients to register them individually because you get more bang for your buck. Thank you for that question. Now to what class are you registered in? Prime example, Dove chocolate and Dove soap. Both names exist with the word Dove, but they're registered in 2 separate classes. And consumers understand, I'm not gonna go buy bar soap and eat it. And I'm not gonna go buy some, Dove soap and try and do that. Or I'm not gonna buy Dove chocolate and try and wash my body with that. So they've already established brand recognition for their name, even though they have the same names, but they're in two separate classes. So technically, you could be doing the same thing. Now I'm gonna keep it general, because depending on what the name of your company is, there could be some big dogs already out there, and what it really comes down to is the likelihood of confusion. That's what the United States Patent and Trademark Office, the examiners, really want to keep away from. We don't want to have consumers coming over here thinking they're getting one thing when they're really getting something else. Or brands that could potentially be likely coming along the path to do the same thing. So that's why you want to work with someone who is seasoned or has some sort of knowledge in that area that can guide you through the process. And then my last misconception, and I'll go back to questions and answers, is, well, I can just do this myself. Or I can go on to one of these, companies and, pay them whatever and have it done and I'll be good to go. So yeah, let's be real, we can DIY stuff all day, but it's your time. And that's not your zone of genius. So one, you wasting time trying to do research on some stuff, trying to figure out if you're filing it correctly, trying to figure out if you got the right class, trying to figure out somebody else that's essentially gonna come after you if you file this, and you wasting time on operating in your God-given purpose. Now you lose the insight on what your passion is, because you diving over here in these different boats trying to do some other stuff that you're not really called to do. So really, time is money. Now granted, you can do certain things yourself, like I said, to go on the website, look things up yourself, do some of your research. Yes, that makes sense, but when it really comes down to, again, time to send that why out in the area, time to send that why out into the world. Do you want your why? Do you want your child or your community or yourself to just, honey, go on there and just dress yourself in the dark and figure out something to eat and then have a good life? Or do you want them to understand and work with somebody who's like, these are the best things to eat? Let me break it down for you with your ingredients. It's cold outside, let me make sure you got the proper jacket on. Now go out there and you can still call me if you need something. That's the type of attorney you want to work with. And that's the type of protection you want to ensure that your brand has. Because let's be real, we only sometimes get one bite of the apple. So I feel like I've done a lot of talk. Why you separate the two? Because God forbid if somebody were to ever sue you, who are they coming after? You individually or your company? And if you are listed individually, they're coming after your personal assets, your house, your car, your clothes, your stocks, your portfolio, whatever it is, versus your business and what you have kind of connected there. Now there are some nuances, but that's generally speaking how it goes. And so I always advise my clients when you're registering your marks that your business, your legal business entity should own that mark. So for example, Yellow Crayons LLC should own Yellow Crayons. So the main thing I want you all to keep in mind is as a business owner, you are your business, you are your brand, and everything that you do has to be tied to that. So it's no more, hi, my name is such and such, which it is, because you are a brand individually outside of your business as well. But if we're specifically talking about your brand while you're here today, you want to ensure that you are aligning it with your contracts, that certain language, with your working with independent contractors, working with vendors, working with partners who you think could align with your company. You always got to keep in mind of protecting your business and in turn protecting yourself. Speaking of that, another big misconception that I get, and I know we ventured off the lane of trademarks, but I feel like this is another legal tidbit when it comes to business owners, is when you go into working with the homie, or when you go into working with people that, you know, oh, I know him forever, but it's my best friend. We just had this great connection over social media. I think this will work. Okay, that's cool, but I still need you all to have some sort of agreement in place, legal agreement. Well, she sent me an email back and forth of who was supposed to do what. Okay, that's cute. But can we still get some sort of partnership agreement, or do you have an operating agreement aligned? Because what it's really doing is protecting you. So if something does eventually pop off, you all already had cleared it. We're gonna go through arbitration. Okay, you go get 30% of whatever didn't work out. If you move certain places, you can't really start the business or take my clients. So I mean, you're working through things in the beginning while everybody is ho hum and cool, versus, you know, people ready to fight, and now y'all in court spending way more money than you should have. I'm gonna give y'all one more story, and then I'll open it up for questions again. So one of my clients, she does professional waxing services, pretty well known. So she went into working with her homegirl, and they started a company, and she thought they would last forever because they both were cool and they had put same time, money, energy into it. And then down the line, unfortunately, things broke off, and the homegirl started dating her man, and then, you know, you all can imagine what happened from there. And so then the homegirl moved. She moved to a totally different state. And guess what she did as soon as she moved to that new state? Started the same business. Guess what else she did as soon as she moved to that whole different state? Filed a trademark. And guess who now has ownership rights over that company? So now I help my client, you know, we kind of rebranded some things. She put a new spin on some stuff, and then we got that trademarked. But the name of the game is you don't want to invest all of this time, energy, late nights, money into opening the door for it all just being sucked up and taken away. So I highly encourage you all to go back to your why. And if you know that you want to protect your why, from going out here, you know, just being fully exposed, you got to do the same thing for your business, because somebody is depending on you. Without that service, somebody is going to be out the gate lost. Without that product, somebody's going to be missing out on some things. So what you're doing is purposeful, but I want you to position it so that it is built on creating generational wealth and for you building a lasting legacy. We out of that mindset of grand opening, grand closing. It's, you gonna see my name in lights forever. And while I might not, but for you all, I'm gonna do it for 500. So if you want that consultation, text me creative consultation when you send me your name and email. Now it's only good for a week. And the reason I make it short like that is because you're either gonna be about it or you're gonna continue to play about it. And this is an investment. And it's probably a tax write-off. So come on. I want to work with people who are about it and want to build their business on a strong legal foundation geared towards creating generational wealth and building a lasting legacy. And if that is not you, I wish you continued blessings. But if I'm meant to serve you, let's make this happen.
Let's go.
Any final questions? Yes, love. We need to talk, okay?
Well, I just wanted to make sure all four, the trademark, copyright, all four of those fall
We
under
cover.
federal?
Yes.
Okay, because I don't live here in Georgia, so that,
Okay.
for me,
No,
that,
yes.
that would be an issue too.
So what I feel like once we chat, depending on which way you want to go, I can kind of show you, because certain things you want to work with attorney in your state, for example, estate laws, employment-related matters. You want to make sure that you're working with an attorney in that state, because there's different laws in those states which could affect your business. But when it comes to federal things, as far as trademarks, copyrights, general contracts, you can work with an attorney across the board.
Thank you. Thank you for your patience.
Oh, of course. I was just playing. Solutions, or I'm on
Page
LinkedIn
4,
using my
solutions.
name, Serena, S as in Susie, Areena, Beasley, B as in boy, EA,